If you ever see a gas station that says last stop for 70 miles, keep driving. I was about 4 hours into a 6-hour drive when I realized I needed to stop. Not just for gas, but because I was falling asleep at the wheel, my eyes drifting shut for half a second at a time. In that terrifying way where you blink and suddenly you're farther down the road than you remember. So I turned up the music and rolled down the window. But the cold air only helped for a few minutes, and I knew I needed caffeine. The highway was empty, and I hadn't seen another car in at least 20 minutes when I saw the glow of a gas station sign ahead and felt relieved. It wasn't a chain, but one of those old independent places that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 80s. With a single building, 2 pumps, and a hand-painted sign that read, "Last stop for 70 miles." I pulled in and parked at the pump. The lot was empty except for a beat-up truck around the side of the building, which I assumed belonged to the night attendant. I filled my tank, paid at the pump, and headed inside. Even though I probably should have just left because I needed coffee and I needed the bathroom, the store was small with a few aisles of snacks and car supplies. A coffee station in the back with glass pots that looked like they'd been burning for hours, and harsh fluorescent lights that made everything feel slightly off. The attendant stood behind the counter, maybe 50 years old, with thinning gray hair and a face that looked exhausted. A late-night infomercial played quietly on the TV behind him, and when he looked up at me, something in his expression changed just for a second. Like he was surprised or worried to see me. He greeted me, and I told him I was just grabbing a coffee. I poured myself a cup that tasted burnt and bitter, but I didn't care. Grabbed a candy bar, and brought everything to the counter where he rang me up slowly while repeatedly glancing past me toward the window in my car. He asked if I was driving alone and how long my trip was, and after I answered, he slid a napkin across the counter with the words, "You're being followed, don't go back to your car," written in pen. I thought he was joking until he told me to look at the security monitor, which showed my car at the pump, with a dark figure standing beside it on the passenger side. I turned to look out the window and saw nothing, but when I looked back at the monitor, the figure was still there, and he told me it only showed up on cameras and warned me that people who went back outside never made it far. He showed me printed articles about missing drivers, found dead in their cars, miles down the highway with no injuries and no explanation. He locked the door and told me to wait until sunrise. And although something felt wrong, I agreed, because the figure on the screen never left and only moved closer. Hours passed, and when I noticed the timestamp on the monitor hadn't changed, I realized the footage was looping and there had never been anyone outside. When I questioned him, his tone changed, and he insisted I stay for my own safety. I backed away and opened a door near the back, expecting a bathroom, but instead found a storage room filled with boxes labeled by date, and inside them were wallets, phones, keys, and driver's licenses belonging to the people from the articles. He wasn't warning anyone. He was keeping them. When he came after me with a cord, I grabbed a wrench, hit him, ran back into the store, smashed the window, and escaped to my car. I drove for an hour before stopping and calling the police, and as the sun began to rise, I finally felt like it was over until I realized that when I'd smashed the window and glanced back inside, I had seen the security monitor through the broken glass, and the figure was still there. No longer standing by my car, but standing exactly where I'd been standing when I broke the window. And that's why I will never stop at a gas station that says, "Last stop for 70 miles." Because whatever is waiting there isn't meant to be seen.